Hello, and welcome to the Deck Garage, a series where I discuss the engines and tools a deck will need to operate efficiently. No generic staples here, only specialty parts. The first episode will be about water, or Mermail Atlanteans. First, the Mermail suite, consisting generally of Mermail Abyss as the most important Mermail, being a free special summon on a level 7 body by discarding waters for cost. The search targets for Mermail Abyss include Mermail Abyss Pike, who discards waters as cost to search any level 3 water, providing further synergy for the deck. Mermail Abyss Gund, who when discarded for any reason, special summons a Mermail from the graveyard. Mermail Abyss Osha, who can special summon other Mermails from the deck by tributing Mermails you have on field, generally Mermail Abyss Teus. Mermail Abyss Mander, who boosts the levels of Mermails on the field. He is a bit of a brick on his own, but he's often run along with Mermail Abyss Osha to use in certain combos. Then there's Mermail Abyss Dine, who's uncommonly played as an extender for certain combos, and Mermail Abyss Turge, who discards water monsters to recycle level 3 or lower waters from the graveyard. Then we have Mermail Abyss Hilda, who can summon Mermails from hand when she's sent to graveyard, and Mermail Abyss Nere, who's a hand trap way to destroy water monsters in your hand or field. That's it for commonly run Mermail Abyss Teus targets. Next up is Mermail Abyss Lind, who could be summoned by Teus, but Abyss Sphere is the more common way to summon her. These two work together to summon any Mermail from your deck during your opponent's end phase, or earlier if they destroy the Abyss Sphere. Now for the big C Serpent Mermails. We have Mermail Abyss Lead, who requires 3 discards to summon himself, which is a steep cost, but when he's on the field he can tribute attack position Mermails to rip a card from your opponent's hand, which is a very useful effect. He also recovers spent Abyss spell and traps, which doesn't come up often but can be useful. Then we have Mermail Abyss Megalo, who is the true powerhouse of the deck. He requires 2 discards to summon himself. When he does so, he searches an Abyss spell or trap directly from the deck, and he can tribute attack position water monsters, any water monster, to allow him to attack twice, which, combined with his absolutely massive 2400 attack, often leads to OTKs. Megalo can search the Abyss Sphere mentioned earlier, as well as Abyss Scale of the Mizuchi, Abyss Scale of Cetus, and Abyss Scale of the Kraken, which negate spells, traps, and monster effects respectively. He can also search Abyss Squall, which serves as a bit of a mini soul charge for Mermail monsters, resurrecting 3 from the graveyard. Next we'll talk about the Sea Serpent engine, or the Atlantean engine. To start off, 3 Deep Sea Diva. This is the strongest normal summon of the deck, leading you into many combo lines, and is a level 2 tuner, which is extremely useful. Always max out on copies of Diva. Of course, a tutor's only good as what it searches, and what Diva searches is incredible. 3 Neptibus, the Atlantean Prince. It searches any Atlantean, procs Atlanteans from deck for cost, and when sent to graveyard for a water effect, summons any Atlantean from graveyard. Because of this, you will always run 1 for 1 to try to get more copies of Neptibus in your deck. As for other Atlanteans, you start off with 3 copies of Atlantean Dragoons. This alone is the glue between the Mermails and the Atlanteans, able to search Megalo and Lead. In fact, it searches any Sea Serpent when sent to grave as cost for a water effect. Other Atlantean All-Stars include Heavy Infantry, which provides additional Sea Serpent normal summons and targeted destruction when sent to grave for water cost, and Atlantean Marksman, which destroys set cards when sent for cost, and summons Atlanteans from deck when it deals battle damage. Depending on your build, additional Sea Serpent targets can include Mulan Glacial the Elemental Lord, who discards 2 cards at random from your opponent's hand when summoned under certain conditions. Lapis Dragon, which is a level 5 tuner that summons itself from hand when searched or drawn. Xyz Sly Dolphin, which summons itself when an Xyz summon is made. And Poseidon the Atlantean Dragon, which is a beat stick that can also potentially nuke the spells and traps, which is also a level 7. Now that we got the namesake engines out of the way, we'll move on to the lesser used ones, starting with the Genex engine, which consists of 3 Genex Undine, who, upon normal summon, allows you to send any water monster from deck to graveyard as cost. This triggers any Atlantean and serves as an excellent foolish burial for the toolbox parts of the deck. One downside of this engine is you are required to run the level 3 Dark Machine Tuner Genex Controller, and if it's not in your deck, you can't search, so you can't send. This engine is generally strong enough to be worth the chance of bricking, however. A small engine that synergizes particularly well with the Genex engine is the Crystron engine. You can use this to search Rosenix, or use Rosenix directly to make a token to make Link Spider, use Link Spider to summon Genex Controller, and then have 3 monsters on field for 1 normal summon. Moving on, the Frog engine. The reason to run this engine is Swap Frog, which discards a water to summon itself, sends any level 2 or lower aqua from deck to graveyard when it does so, and even bounces any monster you control to your hand once per turn to normal summon a frog an extra time, except itself. You'll almost always send Ronin Toad into the graveyard with Swap Frog's effect, which can summon itself by banishing any frog from the graveyard, including Dupe Frog, which protects your other monsters from attacks if it's on the field. Dupe Frog is generally only run to summon off of Totally Awesome. Totally Awesome is the reason that you would run the Frog engine in the first place, thanks to its Omni Negate and recycling effects. Continuing, the Nimble engine, consisting of 3 Nimble Angler, at least 2 Nimble Beaver, though the third is quite nice to run as well, and optionally another water Nimble target. I used Sunfish. The Nimble engine lets you put 2 bodies on field by sending a Nimble Angler to graveyard by Foolish Burial, Genex Undyne, or any discard effect. Normal summoning Nimble Beaver works in a pinch, but it's generally not the best idea since there are so many other strong normal summons in the deck. And finally we have the Fishborg cards. Not really an engine per se. The Fishborg Archer and Fishborg Launcher are level 3 and level 1 tuners that summon themselves from graveyard. Then there's the Fishborg Planter, which is a level 2 non-tuner that summons itself from graveyard. They share a common theme of requiring that your deck be largely or entirely water monsters, but if you meet those conditions they can be a good source of free card advantage. Fishborg Launcher is the strongest, and is also a great target to summon off of Crystron Halqifibrax. Now that the engines are covered, we can move on and discuss tools that you can use to tweak your water deck. First, Extenders. White Stingray, which summons itself by discarding a water. Aqua Spirit, which summons itself by banishing a water from graveyard. And Silent Angler, which summons itself as long as you control a water, but you can't summon anything from the hand for the rest of the turn. For non-level 4 Extenders, there's actually Crusadia Arborea and Sea Archiver for level 3s, Arborea being a tuner. Conveniently, both of these can be searched by Mermail Abyss Pike, giving them a little extra utility in the deck. Next, some tools that don't really fit in other categories. Testudo Erat Newman, and Barrier Statue of the Torrent, which both restrict special summons. There's also Gameciel, the Sea Turtle Kaiju, which removes almost any problem monster, except ones that restrict special summons. Then for spells we have Moray of Greed, Surface, and Salvage, which synergize specifically with waters. Moray of Greed increases consistency, Surface is like a second copy of Monster Reborn, and Salvage can provide hand advantage in long grind games. That's it for the main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, we have the Instant Fusion targets Rare Fish and Muddragon of the Swamp for level 4 choices, then the Sea Monster of Theseus as a level 5 tuner option. For synchros we have Coral Dragon, which is easily made off of Neptabyss plus Coral Dragon. The White Aura synchros including White Aura Monoceros and White Aura Whale, Monoceros being an extender and Whale being a mirror force on legs, which both pierces and can attack multiple times and floats when destroyed. Yikes. Then there are the Ice Barrier synchros, which include Duloran, Tiger King of the Ice Barrier, Brionac, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, Gungnir, Dragon of the Ice Barrier, and of course, Trishula, Dragon of the Ice Barrier. All 4 of these have specific combos and utility in the deck, although the 3 dragons tend to be a little stronger. Next up, Xyz. We have the rank 2 Cat Shark, which is both adorable and buffs up your other water monsters. Totally Awesome, which can be summoned using the Frog engine as an Omni Negate and recycles a water when sent to grave. Mermail Abyss Trite, which can redirect targeting or float into any mermail from graveyard when it dies. Nightmare Shark, which lets any water attack directly, including itself or Abyss Megalo. Abyss Dweller, which is a powerful floodgate for your opponent's graveyard and buffs your team by 500 attack points. Hope-Woven Dragon Spider Shark, which reduces your opponent's team by 1,000 attack points in the battle phase. And Bahamut Shark, as well as the big boy skill drain on legs, Mermail Abyss Gaios. Bahamut Shark can summon any of these rank 3 or lower water Xyz to good effect. And finally, it's time for the links, starting with the simple Mistar Boy, with easy summon requirements and good arrows. Next, Marine Cess Coral Anemone, which lets you summon any water with 1500 or less attack from the graveyard. She locks you into waters, but the effect is so powerful you often don't care. Then the dedicated Mermail link, Mermail Abyssalacia. She has a very flexible effect that floats into any water monster from your graveyard when she dies, sends any water from deck to graveyard as cost as part of that, and on your opponent's turn, can send any card from your hand to the graveyard to search a Mermail monster. This lets you use Atlantean Heavy Infantry or Marksman as interruptions on your opponent's turn. Oh, and she buffs anything she points to by 500. And that's everything. Thanks for watching, folks. Keep an eye out for future Deck Garage content.